Then I heard they fired my A&R. When I knew that, I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because they didn't like him. They thought he was unorganized. So, like, that's interesting. 2 hours later, my manager knock on my door. Come in my room. He like, yo, son, we just got dropped.
All right, man. So the following year is when you get the most recognition when you release For the Kids, right? Now,
Yeah.
this wasn't on Making Records?
No. At this time, there was no more making records. So
Oh, okay.
basically I mean, it was, but not in the theoretical sense. Like, Gene had left. A couple of the artists had left. We had somebody named Don Scavone. He wasn't with us no more. The Morlocks wasn't with us. It was really just me, PH, um, that was there. And it's funny because right before Gene left, me, her, and PH, we had started recording a group album as the Yakuza. And there's a couple records that are floating around somewhere that I don't know where they are. Neither one of us know where they are. P probably got them shits with him. I know you got them shits, P. You know what I'm saying? But one
Wait, why
song
you
is
guys
pure hell.
choose the Yakuza as the name?
That was her. That
Oh,
was
okay.
her. She was obsessed with that Japanese shit during that
That
time.
makes sense.
But the shit was hard, bro. The shit was hard. But yeah, so there was no more making. We was fucking with my guy Jay Grand, who was a radio promoter. Shout out to Jay Grand. He ended up going on doing big things with Funk Flex and K Slay. Um, and I did a production deal with him, but it was still us. And we called that shit Jay Grand Production. And he put up the money. I went to go see Nottz. Now I got introduced to Nottz from Lyricist Lounge. Lyricist Lounge, shout to Ant and Danny. I went on tour with them. It was me, PH, Brooklyn Academy, and Thurston Howell III. We all went on a tour in Canada. We was on a tour bus. I had a cassette tape of Nottz beats on there that I took from Jim Nice, the fucking asshole roommate.
Right.
He was the assistant to Foxy Brown's brother, Anton. Anton was an A&R at Sony. So back then, niggas used to send their beat tapes up to the labels to try to get placements. So I was privy to mad niggas early. I heard Jake one early. Like I heard a lot of niggas early, Nottz early. And I love Nottz shit so much. I made a tape of his shits and I was playing them on the tour bus. And imagine that, me, PH, Brooklyn Academy, Thurston Howell, freestyling over early Nottz beats off the top of the head. And Lyricist Lounge niggas just sitting back watching, right?
Wow.
So them niggas took me down to VA. Took me to VA, met Nottz, and the rest was history. We did For the Kids. That did well. Came back 6 months later, did On. Sold 27,000 units of that vinyl. Flex loved it, put
Wow.
it on his album. Volume 4, the mixtape, that shit came out on Loud. The fucking album went gold. I was the only independent artist on that album. I had my own song on that album. DMX was on that album. Fucking Ja Rule was on the album. Everybody was on the album. Number 19, never forget.
So
Dope times.
is this how the deal comes with Warner Brothers?
Exactly. I think, who else was we talking to? Was we talking to Electra? It was because Warner. I feel like Atlantic, but we is under the same shit. Warner, Electra, Atlantic. I feel like we had a meeting with Atlantic, and I feel like that. I almost signed with Def Jam later, but that was a little bit later. I could get into that. Niggas hating is how I didn't get with them. But so the Warner shit, yeah, so that's how I got it. That's how I got it. My man Che Pope signed me. Che Pope was also a producer. He did beats on Lauryn Hill's album. He was one of the producers that didn't sue Lauryn Hill. Because all the producers that really produced on her album sued her because she said she produced.
So why did the situation with Warner Brothers not work out?
The black music department, it was a couple things. Couple things. The black music department was crumbling. They got a new president. The new president was this guy named Tom Wally. Tom Wally comes from Interscope. He signed Tupac to Interscope.
Right. I
Nigga
remember.
wears $1,500 socks. Wild boy, right? This was back then, right? So and they did not like Che Pope, and Tom Wally didn't like Che Pope, and Tom Wally didn't like my managers, the niggas that I got there with, my boys, right? So I remember being in LA and Tom Wally was calling a meeting. He was meeting with everybody. He was dropping people after the meetings. Remember the R&B group Cherish? They were little girls. They was there. When we pulled up, they was there. They was down in the lobby. They was crying. We was like, what's wrong? They was like, yo, they dropped us. So we in the elevator, shook, like, oh shit. Go upstairs. This nigga Tom Wally, he had a desk in front of a window. That whole window was the whole back wall. You could see the whole Warner Brothers lot. That Warner Brothers lot was the illest shit I ever saw. It was like you was in a fucking fantasy land. Bugs Bunny Lane, Daffy Duck Road. It was crazy. Like you could see where they shoot Friends at, all that, the movie lots, all that. It's the real Warner Brothers lot, right?
Oh shit.
So, bro, he didn't turn around when we came in the room. He's standing up, looking out the window. Me and my manager walk in the room. He was like, "You got music?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Put it in the CD player." So there's a CD player by the door. I put the CD player in the door. Music come on. He ain't moving. He just still looking out the window, arms crossed. I ain't moving. But I peeped something, Panda. I peeped that he was watching me through the reflection in the glass. So I start performing the shit. He was like, cut it off. He was like, yo, you like being at Warner Brothers? I was like, I love it. He was like, all right, you could stay. And we left. I was like, oh shit, yo, that was crazy. He kept me and Jaheim for 2001. Right?
Wait,
Major Figures was on
put
there.
that woman first out already?
Huh?
Was Put That Woman First already out
him.
at that time?
Him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but was the song out at that time?
Yeah, it had been out. It had been out.
Oh, okay, been out, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it had been out. Like that was his hit. That was his hit. What you call it? Major Figures got dropped. They was on what the fuck was the name of that shit? It was a subsidiary on Warner. It's not Rough House, but I want to say Rough House. But they got dropped. That's crazy. And yeah, it's just wild, bro. And then it ended up dissolving later because they kept asking me. They was like, yo, dead your management. I was like, nah, I got here with these niggas. It was like, all right. Came back. Dead your management. Nah, I'm chilling. You sure? Nah, I'm chilling. All right. Then I heard they fired my A&R. When I knew that, I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because they didn't like him. They thought he was unorganized. So, like, that's interesting. 2 hours later, my manager knock on my door. Come in my room. He like, yo, son, we just got dropped. I said, get the fuck out of here. He said, yeah, Warner had got me a whole studio. They remodeled the whole studio upstairs, state of the art. We went and bought everything fresh. They let me have that. They gave me $20,000 to leave, and they kept all the masters, which I'm about to be owning soon because I think it's 30 years. You get the masters. Bro, I had records produced by Rottweiler. I had Megahertz records. I had LT Hurley. We was about to go get Snoop. The nigga Tom Wiley loved me so much, he took the cap off of my budget. We was about to go get Pharrell at that time.
Wow.
But I wouldn't budge. In hindsight, would I do it again? Yeah, I would still keep my niggas. I wasn't ready as an artist. I could tell you this. I was not ready to be on Warner Brothers. What I needed to be on Warner Brothers for was for the experience, so I can learn how an inner label works, so I can learn, I can see these things, I can know what a product manager is, what this is, what these are. It was the perfect school for me, bro. Perfect. I was not ready for that.